Welcome to the big show.
He could go all the way. Oh, America! Are you serious? It is showtime, baby. Here we go. Slam, jam, slam, bam. It's awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Get ready to rumble!
Pump up the shit, yo, pump it up, yo, pump it. Y'all ready for this?
And welcome to Cold War Radio, ladies and gentlemen. Since I forgot to hit my microphone button, we're just having all kinds of calamities tonight. That's the way it is. Welcome to Cold War Radio, live on our home base, WAAR. We are America Radio, your number one source for streaming political and government talk anywhere. I'm Hutch Bailey Jr., deep down in the bunker in my Smith & Wesson studio in the city of Pittsburgh. And let's, from Atlanta, Georgia, welcome Miss Stacy Rush a second time since I forgot to hit my mic button. Good evening, Stacy.
Good evening, y'all. I hope everybody is doing real well tonight on this day before the weekend gets started. How are you, Mr. Hutch?
Oh, doing good, other than a couple calamities here at the beginning of the show, but we're still only 7 minutes in, so we've managed to correct ourselves, so we're doing a little bit better, I guess. Please follow me on Spreaker, like the Facebook page, facebook.com/Cold War Radio, 2 A's in war. Cold War Radio is an iHeartRadio program, and the email is scrtv@live.com. The call-in line, 412-567-1460. Chat room is up on Spreaker. Go to steelcityresistance.blogspot.com. Catch the show notes. And if you can, hit the donate button off to the right-hand side. We have an app for Cold War Radio now for the Android and iPhone smartphones and whatever other devices can listen to audio. I want to thank the people that donated on the website. You paid for the apps. They were $99 a piece, one for each platform. But you go on there, there's over 400 episodes you can choose from. You can listen live. You can join the chat room from your device. And I'd like to hear some feedback on that if anybody's already downloaded. I know several have. I was checking it out today. It looks pretty neat. But I'd also like to thank everybody and let you know that there's a GoFundMe account, or GoFundMe.com/Cold War Radio. And that's just with one A. But I'd like to thank some of the people that have donated. Mary Lou B., Mary Ann E., Lisa Y., Lady B., Linda C., Rocky M. Thank you, Rocky, for several or multiple donations. Claudia F. and Ricky K. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting there, so I appreciate that. That being said, there's also a schedule change. We had a poll on the website, and we will be replacing the Friday evening program with Monday at 8 p.m. next Monday, and also Norway will be the co-host for that episode going forward. So you all enjoyed that program with him and on Tuesday, and he agreed to come on the show, and really, you got to give the man credit. It's like 2 a.m. when he does that. So I'm looking forward to that a lot, Stacy. I really am. Now some good news with all the Hollywood blather. It looks like Paul Anka is going to perform My Way. What a perfect song at the Trump inauguration.
I think so, too. I saw that information go out today, and my guess is Paul Anka is not on Twitter. Liberals try and bash him. I imagine he's still going to show up, and I don't think there could be a more fitting song.
No, he doesn't care. I mean, what does he care? He's not. It's not like he's cutting new albums or anything like that. Another good note. Now, I don't know how many billions that Soros has, George Soros, who I have a feeling is soon going to be a fugitive. But apparently he lost $1 billion in the weeks after the Trump election. And I just find that the karma in that is beautiful.
I think it is too. I think it is too. He is, I just wish there was some way he could be charged with some sort of crime. This man is just pure evil, in my opinion. So I guess if that can't be the case, losing $1 billion certainly is not a bad thing.
Yeah, $1 billion or a couple gallons of blood or something. But, the guy, I'll tell you, the thing that gets me about him is how open it is in the media. The deeds that he's committed, and it's just printed. And if that stuff was printed about you or me, we'd be in the prison. Mm-hmm. This guy just gets away with it. That's the part that really gets under my skin. He's an evil guy, like you said. Now, I know there's only 2 senators from California. One of them is Barbara Boxer, if I'm not mistaken. But there's this other one that I'd never heard of before, and her name is Senator Kamala Harris, Democrat, California. And you had Mike Pompeo, who graduated the first in his class at West Point, no easy task, being questioned at his confirmation hearings to be head of the CIA. And I just want to play you this to let you know the mindset of the Democrats in California. This is one of 2 senators of a huge state, and we're interviewing the next head of the CIA. And I want you to listen to what is important to this senator. This is absolutely unbelievable. Let's listen.
And do I have your assurance that this equal treatment will include policies related to child care services, family benefits, and accompanied post for dependents?
Without knowing the full set of policies and benefits out at the Central Intelligence Agency, I haven't had the chance to find this yet. You have my assurance that every employee will be treated in a way that is appropriate and equal.
And that you will not put in place any policies that would discriminate against any members because of their sexual orientation?
Ma'am, I can't imagine putting in place any policy that was discriminatory with respect to any employee.
Thank you. And I'm also concerned about rhetoric related to Muslims from high-profile members of the incoming administration, in particular Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, with whom I imagine you'll be working closely. I don't want that to impact recruitment or retention of the patriotic and critically important Muslim men and women of the CIA, some, of course, who have taken great risks to serve our country. Can you commit to me that you will be a tireless advocate for all members of the CIA, all of the workforce?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'll get back to the clip in a second, but it's absolutely imperative to California that we hire Muslims in the CIA. Okay, let's get back to it.
CIA Director Brennan, who spent a 25-year career at the CIA as an analyst, a senior manager, and station chief in the field, has said that when, quote, CIA analysts look for deeper causes of rising instability in the world, one of the causes those CIA analysts see as is the impact of climate change. Do you have any reason to doubt the assessment of these CIA analysts?
Senator Harris, I haven't had a chance to read those materials with respect to climate change. I do know the agency's role there. Its role is to collect foreign intelligence, to understand threats to the world. That would certainly include threats from poor governance, regional instability, threats from all sources, and deliver that information to policymakers. And to the extent that changes in climatic activity are part of that foreign intelligence collection task, we will deliver that information to you all and to the President.
In the past, you have questioned the scientific consensus on climate change. Nevertheless, according to NASA, studies published in peer-reviewed scientific journals show that 97% or more of actively published climate scientists agree that climate warming trends over the past century are extremely likely due to human activities. In addition, most of the leading scientific organizations worldwide have issued public statements endorsing this position. Do you have any reason to doubt NASA's findings?
Senator, I've actually spoken to this in my political life some. My commentary most all has been directed to ensuring that the policies that America put in place actually achieve the objective of ensuring that we didn't have catastrophic harm that resulted from change in climate. I continue to hold that view. I frankly, as the director of CIA, would prefer today not to get into the details of climate debate and science. It seems my role is going to be so different and unique from that. It is going to be to work alongside warriors keeping Americans safe. And so I stand by the things that I've said previously with respect to that issue.
So I'm not clear. Do you believe that NASA's findings are debatable?
Senator, I have to tell you, I haven't spent enough time to tell you that I've looked at NASA's findings in particular. I can't give you any judgment about that today.
Can you guarantee me that you will, and we'll have a follow-up conversation on this?
I'm happy to continue to talk about it. Yes, ma'am, of course.
Thank you.
He should have just said, no, I don't believe it. Stop. Oh, my God, Stacey. This lady, it's unbelievable. We were talking about being Democrats. Can you imagine being a Democrat in California, and this is your representation for the CIA director?
Well, in California, yes. The vast majority probably were right on, lady. Yeah, you tell him climate change is important. He's a denier. You need to vote against him. But I loved his response. I'm going to be working alongside warriors protecting the American people. The only thing he left out was S the F up, lady.
No doubt, man. I mean, and before that, I couldn't play the whole clip because that was long as it was for clips on this show. But before that, she wanted him to make sure that he was going to hire gays and transgenders in the CIA too. So it was the whole shooting match there. But Big Rich from New York City, what'd you think about that clip?
Oh, that's sickening. He probably was just thinking he was humoring her for a while. He said, all right,
yeah.
Let me just say this just to get her out of my skin. He's the CIA director. What does global warming, this nonsense, have to do with the CIA? It's ludicrous.
Everything, if you're a liberal.
Oh, my God. Hi there, Miss Stacey. I forgot to introduce yourself. How you doing this?
How you doing?
Okay. Good. Hutch, could I say something regarding John McCain?
Why, certainly.
Should he be, should his access to documents from the government should be taken away from him?
If it was up to me, he'd be in Leavenworth. Well, I shouldn't say that. If it was up to me, he'd be tried, or there'd be an investigation on the different things that he's done over the years. He's done some things with MIA families that just burn me up, and I don't trust him a lick.
I'm just asking because what he did with that document that's supposed to be CIA, that he gave to the CIA or to the FBI to investigate.
Well, it wasn't illegal. I mean, he went and got a document from a guy in London. It was underhanded, and you don't do that kind of thing to people in your own party, but I don't think that part was criminal. I think he's done enough criminal things, but that was just low down.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you, Hutch.
I understand, but do you think there should be any kind of reprimand for him?
Well, there's really not anything they can do. I looked at right after that happened, I looked in to see if you could recall a senator, and you cannot. So his own district would have to be the ones, his own state rather, would have to be the ones to vote him out. The
more looking at this person, there's something wrong with him, man. He should get evaluated because his rational life of thinking is kind of cuckoo. Hey, another thing I want to mention: are you worried about the buildup in Poland?
Yeah, I am, and it's not just Poland. There's other places too, but that's getting heavy. I mean, we're moving tanks into there and everything else.
That's crazy.
It's not something you do at the end of an administration.
Exactly. I was thinking about that all day. It has me a little worried here.
The troops are all right, though. Don't worry about them. They'll be okay, Big Rich.
And Big Rich, I think Putin's got his number. I truly don't think this is going to escalate in the way that maybe Obama would prefer it to escalate. I truly don't. I think they almost think it's comical over on that side.
And it's funny because this is putting a burden on the economic regarding our armed forces. Poland loves it, of course. Oh, we got American protecting us. We got, our soldiers could go on vacation now. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, we have to reorganize NATO. I mean, it's something that, the same players. There's more players over there now that are free. And Rich, thanks for calling. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let's go to Ken from King George, Virginia. What's going on, Ken?
Hey, Hutch, since you're bringing up liberal lunacy, what about this whole crap of Biden getting the Presidential Medal of Freedom?
The only thing I can think of with that, I think that Obama, I mean, if you look at the things that Obama put on Joe Biden, I think he was just, man, thanks for staying with me. Thanks for sticking it out. Because Biden's a regular politician and Obama's not. Obama's a Marxist. I can't believe that Biden went along with so many things that he did. Stacy?
Yeah, no, it didn't surprise me at all. I mean, did he not just award himself the same award like the week before? And I think Biden might have been a little bit embarrassed, even though he got a little bit choked up. I think he might have been like, okay, what's this all about? I don't know. I thought it was kind of comical.
What else is on your mind, Ken?
Well, in my mind, even when I was in the Navy, I used to give out Navy achievement medals like they were candy, and it kind of diminishes the whole,
I know exactly what you mean.
You know what I mean? Or maybe I'm not using the right word. But.
No, you are. I mean, I remember personally going to an annual training with an infantry unit in the reserves, and every section was being pressured to give out all these awards. And I had like 80 different maintenance people, mechanics and, weapons mechanics and radio mechanics that worked for me. And I gave one award out because I had one turret mechanic that beat all the infantry guys at the grenade range. So I gave him an award. But, you're right. There's a lot of them. And all you have to do to figure that out is look at General David Petraeus. Look at his uniform, and his first combat tour was as a division commander in Iraq. So there you go. He's got a freaking chest full of stuff that it's unbelievable. Hey, thanks for calling, Ken. I appreciate it.
You bet, Hutch and Stacey.
Thank you, Ken.
All right, Ken from Virginia, 412-567-1460. Stacey, it seems that some of the countries are going one way and we're going the other way. Morocco, with a sizable Muslim population, has banned the burqa.
Yeah, that's good for them.
I know it's breaking out.
It is
all over the world. I mean, this is we're the slowest ones.
We are
on the uptake. I don't know why that always is.
And I think I think it's a good thing being a woman. To be quite honest with you, I think it gives them certainly a lot more freedom that they have following Sharia law, and I certainly I think it's a really good move for Morocco, and I think you'll hopefully see that a little bit more. I think people are starting to understand that this ideology is really very dangerous to our way of life, and anyone's way of life who agrees with having somewhat. I'm so sorry.
That's quite all right.
Technical difficulties over here.
Hey, that's 3, so it comes in 3, so we should be good. We should be good for now. But and ladies and gentlemen, you're going to want to tune in on Monday nights because Norway has some insight on a lot of this. He's dead set in the middle of it in Scandinavia, and he moves across borders. I mean, he spends a lot of time. I'll tell you, he told us something on Tuesday. For those of you that missed the program, he goes to Denmark a lot, and to be in a major city in Denmark, I don't know if he was talking about. I don't know what city he was talking about, but to see in Denmark, to see Arabs coming down the street on stallions, on horses, Sharia police. I mean, who would have thunk? So the perspective there is going to be really, really interesting. I'm looking forward to that. But each episode is worth your company, so please join us. It looks like Mad Dog got the waiver, Stacey, from both the House and the Senate. I think I heard that correctly before the program started.
I think you're right about that, and I don't know if you had a chance to listen in to any of his testimony, but in my opinion, he handled himself better and was received better than every single other person. There are some very top-notch people that he's obviously nominated, but Mattis was unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable.
And 100% his own man. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't want to say he went against Trump, but he answered the questions in a military fashion that go against some of the things that President-elect Trump said. Now, that's not to say that President-elect Trump is not going to take it in another direction. And I'm sure, see, the thing about, and he has another name, by the way. During the testimony, he said that name came from the press, the Mad Dog Mattis name. Mm-hmm. His name in the Marine Corps is Warrior Monk.
That makes so much more sense.
He forgave, is that the right word? No. He decided that he wanted to dedicate 100% of his life to the Marine Corps, so he never took a wife on purpose. And that's dedication, man.
Is it dedication, Hutch? Is it really dedication? I'm sure.
Well, if you look at the rest of the things he's done, he still visits Gold Star families of people that were under his command that got killed. And
the other thing that I was going to say, but I did not know that about him, but he is so thoughtful. He is a warrior, but he's a thinker, and so that's when you had said what his nickname was in the military, that just made some sense to me as well. I find him so appealing because he is such a strong military man, but he is so thoughtful and strategic in everything that he says and does.
Absolutely. He has over 6,000 books in his library. He's read them all. He reads all the time. When asked about Russia and trying to normalize relations, his answer was really thoughtful, if you will. It was deep. He went all the way back to Yalta, World War I and things like that. And I think that's Yalta. Yeah, it is. But, he said, we've tried this. There's many examples in history, not to make history the final word, but we have to learn from history. And he said that ever since then, we've tried several times to normalize relations with Russia. There are several accounts, and there are very few accounts of successes.
I thought that was brilliant. Brilliantly put. I really did.
And speaking of that, doing some research on John McCain, because I got his number, I came across a video, a documentary, and I think it was a BBC documentary, but it was backed up with footnotes and that kind of thing. But if you go to Cold War Video Classroom at steelcityresistance.blogspot.com, the top film on that page is a film that talks about the United States government abandoning POWs. And I'm going to drop a fact out there just to try to get you to go watch the documentary. Just hold on a second. 520, hold on a second, I'll get right to you. But I didn't know that after World War I, the American military fought with Russians against the Bolsheviks, and many of them got taken prisoner, and they were never returned. I didn't even know we fought in the Russian Revolution. Never heard that in any of my studies anywhere. So in between World War I and World War II, the United States military was fighting the Bolsheviks, and several of them got taken prisoner, and just thought I'd throw that out there. 520, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Dean from Arizona.
Dean from Arizona. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, Hutch, first of all, thank you for posting that POW. I watched the video today.
Wasn't that amazing?
That was incredible, especially the mothers, all the mothers fighting, trying to find their children.
Did you see the confrontations with John McCain?
No, I didn't. I didn't get to see that part of it.
I can't remember if that was on that movie or not, but there'll be more.
Well, great. Hey, Hutch, you and I kind of chewed the same sand over there in Children's Storm. And when we wore the uniform, we wore it with pride.
Right.
And that's something that held strong in military belief.
That's true.
I witnessed a letter put out by command authorizing now the wearing of turban, hijab, and beards for religious purposes on active duty military.
I have not heard that. I heard that the New York City Police Department did it.
Witnessed the document. I saw the document.
He's correct, Hutch. That is true.
Wow, that sucks. That'll be rescinded as soon as Mattis takes over.
Boy, I hope so. And that's the point I wanted to bring up. It's getting too crazy. Mm-hmm. I just don't understand why our military is doing and training the people that we are, and, you know, with the possibility of aggressive natures back.
Well, you have to understand,
using our training.
You have to understand that the left hates the military. Mm-hmm. And they always have. And this I'm not talking about the Democrat Party of yesterday. I'm talking about the leftist communist Democrat Party of today. Yeah. They've been trying to destroy the military. Even when there's Republicans in office, there are still leftists in the civilian chain of command that have been trying to do this. And I guess I'll just jump, Stacy, to the part of the show where we talk about General Mattis. Experts say that he's going to turn the clock back on a lot of this social justice stuff. And I wholeheartedly believe that, because being in the military, and just to set the record straight, I was I was in the Army Reserve during Desert Storm and Desert Shield, but I supported that effort as a civilian. As a military member, I was in Operation Iraqi Freedom, and I've retired from the military since then. But that's just to set the record straight. I want to make sure that's out there. But he's going to turn this stuff around, because in my military experience, and probably yours, if you had any inter-service activity, any dealings with other services, the Marine Corps was always the ones that were most traditional. In other words, when I was in Al-Assad, when I traveled to one of our units in Al-Assad, that base was run by the Marine Corps. And these guys, the Army guys in other bases, could put their rifles down next to them when they ate. Marines had to keep them on their lap.
Roger. My father was a Marine Corps DI in 46, and listening to his stories, it's a lot different.
All right, Dean. Well, hey, thanks for calling, and don't let this be the last time you call. I got you in the database.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you, Hutch. Appreciate all of you. All right, bye-bye.
Yeah, I can't. I think he is going to push that back too, Hutch, as well. I think he made a good point today in this testimony, talking about how the military, needs to do what the military is to do, and that is for the people that they're fighting to have the worst day of their lives, that our military should be feared. And if we continue to go through this PC ridiculous experiment, you do not have you don't have a cohesive unit. The military is not about individuality. The military is about being a team. And when you continue going down this road, you're going to destroy it. And I agree with you wholeheartedly that has been a part of the left. And I believe it's been a part of the feminization of men as well.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. And that's part of the left, too. That's cultural Marxism 101. I mean, destroying masculinity. And just the title of this, because we're not going to get a chance to get deep in it because we're too good, but the Trump Pentagon is likely to abandon social experiments for core mission under Mattis, say experts. And I can tell you that the senior leadership in the military is happy about that. Now, some of the younger generation, this is all they've ever experienced in their life. They've been taught this since they were in kindergarten. And, I think they'll be all right with it, though. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I want to get into this one story, if we don't do any other, because this one is really important. It's from the Conservative Treehouse in Sundance. And this guy is, if you haven't been to the Conservative Treehouse and you want to understand things like in no other site that I can think of, go to the Conservative Treehouse. These people have got their act together. This is called Tripwire Alert, the Intelligence Shadow War Final Act. Much like the 2015-16 establishment GOP splitter strategy, the 2017 intelligence community shadow war ends with an epic Donald Trump victory. And here's the full Monty. Donald Trump, a serious student of the entire decades-long game, is waging a 360-degree war against the entire D.C. apparatus on every single level of its construct. And yes, that also means the monolithic media empire which facilitates all of the aforementioned usurpations, and that includes Fox News. Those are my words. Donald Trump is, okay, we covered that. He's not just taking on the construct of progressive ideology that has undermined the essence of American exceptionalism. He's not just exposing the immense number of faux conservatives in media and political punditry. He's not just allowing us to see the scope of anti-American interests. No, he's taking on the very selfish foundation they've all used to sell out our country. He's even taking on all the deception simultaneously. Those adverse interests are both outside and inside our borders. He's intent on tearing down the machine, all of it. By now, that should be obvious to everyone. Toward that end, today's final exposure of the corrupt media, specifically CNN and BuzzFeed, surrounding the false, well, he's catching me right when I'm, intelligence report they used to create a completely false narrative, brings the end to a series of events as transparent as the GOP splitter strategy which preceded it. To fully understand what just took place, you must remind yourself of the visible shadow war which became abundantly evident several months ago. With General Mattis as Secretary of Defense, Michael Flynn as National Security Advisor, General John Kelly, the Department of Homeland Security, a top-of-class West Point graduate, and Mike Pompeo brought in to take over and undoubtedly purge the CIA, and a lame duck struggle breaking out over at the NSA with Admiral Mike Rogers, the implications are pretty obvious. The white hats have needed within the national security, the white hats we have needed within the national security and intelligence departments are responding from a very select group within the Defense Department. Let me just explain what the white hats are. Inside every agency, and if you've listened to my programs for any amount of time, I've told you, inside every single one of these agencies that are acting rogue, there are agents that are in there that are patriots. And that's the white hats, the people that couldn't say anything because they have kids and they have to keep their way of living going, their very existence. But now the white hats are poised because they have somebody friendly on the outside. Mounting evidence supports the ongoing thesis that DOD has actually seceded from the political elites, and with the election of President Donald Trump, they are poised on the horizon to reconstruct a nationalist-minded defense intelligence and security apparatus. This is the fundamental paradigm shift that many have discussed, yet few imagine possible. NSA Director Rogers, listen to this, participates in session at Intelligence and National Security Summit in Washington, slightly more than a week after winning the 2016 presidential election. The head of the NSA Cyber Command, Admiral Mike Rogers, went to New York and met with new President-elect Donald Trump inside Trump Tower.
Stop right there because I want to make sure that I am understanding this and everyone listening is as well. He met with him shortly after the win, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And then the meeting that you're about to say happened a month prior to Donald Trump's win, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
A month, so this is the guy, this is the white hat, Rogers. A month prior to that specific visit, DNI Director James Clapper advised President Obama to fire Admiral Mike Rogers. There is every indication, every reason to believe that Admiral Rogers gave President-elect Donald Trump a very specific heads up, warning the incoming president of actions which would be undertaken by political operatives within the intelligence community to undermine the construct of the incoming administration. All activity from that mid-November meeting through now points to Rogers giving advance notice to Trump of a political intelligence scheme which culminated today, which was yesterday, with the public embarrassment of those politicized intelligence agencies, operatives, and their vessels for disinformation, the media. You can go read the rest of that. but that's pretty magnanimous. What say you, Hickory, from Florida?
Well, it seems as though when everybody wanted the flag officers to stand up, that it happened to be the cyber guys, the white hats you're talking about. The flag officers may have stood up here when the Iranians buzzed one of our naval vessels and they, gave warning shots. I think if the truth be known, Obama wouldn't want that. I don't know about you. What do you feel about that?
About what, the Iranians?
Well, yeah, that
I don't think
commander on the scene actually operated outside of parameters that Barack Obama would have approved of. What do you think of that?
No, I agree with that 100%. I think he definitely did. He did what he had to do to protect his vessel.
Right.
And that vessel that he was in was protecting a group.
Well, yeah, because he had an amphibious warship there, which is not a warship. It's rather thin-skinned. It's got a flat bottom and maybe about 800 Marines or more and some equipment. So you could see that there's things going on and things that we can't see. And, it's about time the intelligence guys had their enema.
Yeah. And I think that with this team that he's assembled, you can imagine.
Oh, they thought they owned our ass.
Oh, they did. You can imagine the meetings between Flynn and Mattis and Kelly. There's probably a lot of meetings that occur without Trump.
Well, Donald Trump is a manager. He's not a micromanager.
Right. And I think the testimony that Stacey and I were talking about with Mattis and Pompeo, and as a matter of fact, Tillerson even, shows that these are independent leaders in their own right. They're not.
And they're
not puppets.
It's not John Beale at the EPA who had to pay back $900,000, but the thing that he did was he was a golden boy on tarnished scientific data that clamped down on the U.S. economic engine with particulate from the EPA. And then he went out and acted as if he was a CIA agent, and he was such a golden boy that the lady that knew about it is still there. And he only had to pay up $900,000 back before he went to jail. So, these people have absolutely no leg to stand on. If Christ climbed up on the cross to give his life for us, then everybody here that's listening to my voice right now should realize that whatever it takes, that's what it takes.
Yep, no, I agree with you 100%, Hickory. Thanks for calling, and please call back again.
Thank you, brother.
All right, so Stacey, I'll tell you, it's heartening to me to read things like that. It's a shame that it took so long, and you would hope that if we don't do anything else, and I don't know if you do this legislatively or how you do it, but my goodness, right after Franklin Delano Roosevelt died, both sides of the aisle realized you can't leave a guy in there that long, and they made a constitutional amendment restricting the presidency to 2 terms. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying term limits, although that's not a bad idea, but we have to do something that doesn't allow this to happen again. And I don't know if that's reorganizing the CIA. I think he's put managers in there that absolutely know the deal. I'm sure that when he was vetting them, he told them his grand strategy.
Right. And I think this, I don't know how to say what I'm trying to say. I think that he does. I think Pompeo, I think his whole goal is going to be to go in there and to restructure or try and weed out some of the bad in the CIA. I think that this is 100% true. I had heard before the election a couple of videos from a former intelligence man who said that this was going on, and this was right around the time of the the additional emails that Comey announced, a week before the election. And they talked about that. There were a couple of videos by a former intelligence officer talking about these white hats, and that this was, this is the election and this is their time to really kind of do exactly what this article at the Conservative Treehouse is discussing. And you look at what happened with this intelligence or faux intelligence report and what it exposed, and Trump even saying how he had, part of what he did was, to expose the folks in the intelligence that they didn't even know he was having a meeting, and this was leaked, and so I do think this is a concerted effort to clean house over there, and I truly, truly, truly hope that we make a lot of effort. I also read a piece briefly of Thiel. I believe he was the co-founder of PayPal, and he's a gay Republican. He spoke he spoke at the RNC convention, and he said that his fear isn't that Trump is going to do too much. His fear is that Trump is not going to do enough. Now, he may not have been speaking specifically about what's going on in our intelligence, but that would be my only fear as well. And I hope he goes in and destroys the entire system.
No, I agree 100%. And if you look at a parallel, well, not parallel, but close, a situation with Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan didn't do enough, and he turned the ball over to a globalist who destroyed everything Ronald Reagan did.
Right.
At least he started it.
And they knew, right, that all they had to do was wait him out. That's all they had to do.
Yep.
And I'm hopeful that enough people will wake up, Hutch. My biggest fear is that the economy is going to turn around and people are going to get so busy back living their lives that we may have the same situation, that once Trump leaves, they're just going to wait him out so that the establishment can come back and take it over. That's why I'm truly hopeful that he goes in and he really smashes the system to pieces.
And I think one of his major tasks should be to ensure that the osmosis of him gets into Pence.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know what I mean? Because Pence seems like a truly righteous man, and nothing that Donald Trump is talking about doing is anything short of righteous for our country, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And I feel, I feel that admiration and increasing on Pence's side. At first, I kind of saw Pence as the father in that relationship, really trying to keep the whole family together and everything smooth within the campaign. But I truly think that after watching what he said right before Donald Trump's presser, that his eyes are wide open.
I think so too.
I got a really strong feeling about that, and I'm hopeful that just continues to grow and grow, and that he truly, because I believe he is a righteous man as well, and I believe he too wants the best for this country as Donald does. And so I agree with you. I hope a lot of Donald rubs off on him, and he turns so much less establishment and really continues to carry the torch in making America great again, for lack of a better term.
No, I really do too. And ladies and gentlemen, the chat room's really jumping. Go to steelcityresistance.blogspot.com. You can get the link there, or if you're already on Spreaker, you could just check it out. By the way, Mr. Producer, who all is in the chat room tonight?
I'm talking about Navy Red, Theo, Tony, and Milton, Mike, Sluggo, and Mike, Chilliam, D.O.B., Reggie B, and Sid, Dano B, Derek B, Sean B, and don't forget Big Hank, Don Ice, Isaiah Rock, God bless, Peter Wax, Chuck, and Pope, Chop, El Dorado, George, way back in the day, had all the brothers on the hill talking this way, they said, God, have mercy, L.A., Sunshine, and my DJ, Easy Lee, are from around the way, Jock, Philly, and Don D, all way, but they're chillin', Keith, KV, Steve-O, Ross, and A.F., Baroni, Toski and Hunk. We fight but our hands and nobody's a punk.
So the Wild Wild West is going on there, and I'm always happy, at least when Chuck and Pork Chop are in the chat room, Stacy. I mean, you got to keep it light every now and then.
Absolutely, and what a good song, Wild Wild West. And I feel like we are about to get in the Wild Wild West, but in a great way with the Trump-Pence administration. I wanted to bring your attention to, Hutch, to a link I put in the chat room. Guccifer 2.0 made a post today about the hack and blaming Russia, and he was pretty specific. He or she was pretty specific on how it was done, and that it's not Russia. And I just feel like that somewhat kind of dovetails what the conservative treehouse was kind of pointing out as well. I feel like this was a concerted effort to delegitimize Trump, and I don't have a whole lot of faith that they have absolute proof that Russia was behind.
And it's frustrating. It's frustrating because all these geniuses now are coming out saying that it was Russia.
I know, and
I never believed it,
and I still don't believe it. And I encourage you, if you'll go on my feed and take a look at that, when you read the post that this Guccifer 2.0 wrote, it's very specific, and it feels like somebody is coming out and saying they are full of crap. And then after reading the conservative, I have not believed it's Russia from the giddy up.
I haven't either. I thought it was. I mean, when you look at that dead guy from the DNC, I mean, and then you had Assange saying that he didn't say it, but he damn near said it, that this was the guy that was given the emails to him, and it wasn't a hack. It was a leak of emails. Somebody gave him the email strings. I guess it is a hack.
It is. It is, but
not if somebody gives it to you.
Not if somebody makes copies of them or what have you. But the way that it was posted through WikiLeaks looks like it was the actual server download, if you will, from that. Okay. But I will tell you this: no matter what, and Seth could very much be a part of that. It was a combined effort. There is not one person who was responsible for all of that. That was a huge team effort, but I have never believed from day one that it was Russia.
Not me either. And just a topic to throw out there, and you can go check it out in the show notes links. This is Cold War Radio 423. But the world's not all roses and gumdrops. China is tightening its border with Pakistan as fears grow of jihad in western Xinjiang. So another common enemy, those are the, what do they call them? I can't remember the name of the sect of Islam that is in China, but now they're worried about overflow from Pakistan coming in there. So this is something I think really that we're going to see a world war in our time, and it's going to be like the Crusades. I mean, this is going to get to the point where Western civilization and other quote unquote civilized nations are just we're not going to be able to take this anymore. And we'll see what happens. But let's welcome Carrie from Florida. Good evening, Carrie.
Mr. Bailey, did you see that? Miss Rush, did you see that? I'm on the phone and I'm still posting links. How about that? Man, I got my upgrade, my brother. I got my upgrade.
Good for you.
Now, Mr. Bailey, I had to go hunt down your app, so I now have the link, at least to your Android app, so we can start sharing that as well. So we got to get.
Are you listening live on it?
I don't download stuff like that, sir. I'm sorry. It's just me. My phone is just to make phone calls, not to do anything else. So.
Okay, I'll just check. I wanted to see if anybody was having a good experience with it.
I understand. Well, I'm just calling in just to tell you I love you all. And what you're seeing, folks, is you're seeing the beginning, the creation of a network is what you're seeing. And
that's true. That's absolutely true.
Because what's going on, folks, if you listen to Mr. Dupree, he said it last night. Maybe you all heard instead of listened. Start listening. Start listening to what people say. He's encouraging you people to start doing some stuff. And I'm going to encourage you all to do the very same thing, because look what happens. We had Norway on. Mr. Bailey had Norway on. And the rust, should I say, just fell right off of him because he's done it before.
And let me tell you, he did it. He didn't do it in his native tongue either.
That's correct. And he did it at between 2 and 3 in the morning, his time. So that's pretty daggum impressive. So now you got Miss Rush, who gets better and better and better every show that she's on, no matter where it's on. That is iron sharpening iron, folks. So what I want to encourage you all to do is do like Mr. Dupree suggested. Start off with a little 10 minutes, 15-minute Spreaker thing. You get 5 hours of broadcast time for free on Spreaker. Doesn't cost you anything. You can talk it to your phone. It'll give you some kind of idea as to what's what. And you know what? It doesn't have to be political. It could be anything.
Wrap it up, Kerry. We're running out of time. Buddy.
Okay, real quick. Just start doing. Because, folks, we got a lot of stuff to replace. We got a lot of stuff to replace. And so it's time for you. There's a lot of talent, a lot of smart people out there. So let's help Mr. Dupree and Mr. Bailey get their upgrade, and in doing so, let's upgrade everybody else. Let's build our own daggone network. We don't need the mainstream media. Thank you for your time, Mr. Bailey. Thank you for your time, Mr. Rush.
Thanks, Kerry.
All right, and ladies and gentlemen, just to add on to that a little bit, I have to say, and I didn't ask him if I could do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Go to the WayneDupree.com. Recently rated in the top 100, up around 60-something, of top news sites in the United States. That is amazing. Think about that.
Wow.
Congratulations, Mr. Dupree, man. You are killing it, man. That makes me so proud when I hear that.
Me too. It is it truly is absolutely
top 100 in just a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so go to WayneDupree.com and let's get that thing up in the top 25. And it was actually quoted. Well, I'm not even going to go there. We're running out of time. I want to thank everybody in the chat room for listening, especially Pork Chop and Chuck Eldorado George. And Stacy, how can people get in touch with you on social media?
Oh my God, that is hysterical. Okay, you guys, thanks so much. What a great group of people calling in. I love it, love it, love it. Keep doing that and keep on keeping on. We are going to do this. Let's do it together. You guys can reach me at Discovering Me. Just type in disco. It's Discovering Me 40 and The Right Rush on Gab.
Thank you, Stacy, so much for coming by. Always love your company. I'm Hutch Bailey Jr. on Facebook and Gab, Bird's Eye View on Twitter. The Wayne Dupree program coming up next. Don't miss that. Thanks for letting us into your life for 1 hour. Jacob Seals, Never Lose Faith. Take us out.